A different time, so I'm waiting on them all. Are we ready? You all right? Good. Well, good evening. As you can see, I am not John Daniel. I hope wherever Chairman Daniel is tonight that he's having a good time. I'm Emery Hard, and I have the honor to be the vice chair for this year, so I pinch hitting for the chairman. So I want to welcome everyone here tonight to our June 2nd commission meeting. And first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time in our agenda, we have a time for statements or remarks from citizens regarding anything that's not on the agenda. So if anyone's welcome to come up and speak about any subject other than what's on the agenda, the only thing we ask is you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Okay, thank you. Any statements or remarks from commissioners?
Fellowship.
Well, in the fashion of Chairman Daniel, I do have a couple of calendar items I want to bring people's attentions to. Of course, if you didn't know already, early voting starts next week uh, from Monday through Friday. Just 1 week of early voting from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. here at the County Administration Building. Of course, the actual runoff date is June the 16th, and that'll be held at your normal polling places. And that's from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So just want to remind you if you didn't know that already. We do have a town hall meeting coming up on June the 16th in these chambers. That's a Tuesday evening beginning at 6 p.m. And that's the evening where you can come and just talk about anything you want, or as long as you want, up to a point. So y'all are welcome to come back and be with us at our town hall. One of the things that we're having our second Oconee 101. I see Ed's back in the back. He's a graduate of the first class of Oconee 101. And registration for our next sessions opens up on June the 8th. So if anyone's interested in participating in Oconee 101, registrations open online on June the 8th, and those classes start on August the 13th. And we had a good group. Ed, how many was about 30 in that group? Yeah. So if anybody's interested in participating in that, that's a great way to learn about how your county operates. So keep that in mind. With that, I did skip over the normal pledge and moment of silent prayer. That's not on the agenda, so I just walked right over that. So let's digress a moment and stand and have a moment of silent prayer, and Commissioner Saxon will give the pledge. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is our hearings and actions on zoning matters.
minutes, approval minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. I said I want to be through by 6:15, so I'm gonna get there one way or the other. Approval of the minutes, thank you, Mark. We have our May 5th regular meeting and our May 19th agenda meeting.
I make a motion to approve both of those as submitted.
Is there a second?
I'll second, but for the record, I missed the 19th. So just the record.
Okay. Motion been made and seconded with that change on the May the 19th. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, now we'll go. Okay. We'll enter into our hearings and actions on zoning matters, and while Chuck is getting just a couple of comments about the public hearing portion of the zoning. These are the procedures that we use to conduct this public hearing. Our staff will introduce the petition. They have no time limit. The applicant and those who have signed up to speak in favor of a petition will have 20 minutes. And of course, the applicant may reserve any remaining time for rebuttals following any opposition presentation. Any opposition will have 20 minutes to speak as well. Following all the presentation, we'll then close the public hearing portion, and the commission will then begin their deliberation. So with that, Holly, did we have anybody signed up one way or the other? I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. All right, the first action is variance P26-0078 Rockenwood SRH LLC. Hearing?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman Pro Tem. This is variance P26-0078 Rockingwood SRH LLC applicant and owner. This is C03015ADA. Currently zoned OIP in the neighborhood village character area. Again, the request is special exception variance from Oconee County Unified Development Code, Article 8, Section 806 and Table 8.1 to reduce the required buffer width from 25 feet to 0 feet. This is the concept plan you have in your application packet, architectural renderings, and staff recommends it does meet necessary conditions to approve the variance to a buffer width of 10 feet. Our 3 standard conditions. Number 4, the owner shall convey at no cost to the county an easement for the existing public water line crossing the property free of all liens. Number 5, the owner shall install an incompatible use buffer reduced to 10 feet wide on the south side of the property adjacent to parcel C03018 LSE in coordination with the Water Resources Department after installation of the sanitary sewer line is complete and outside of the proposed sanitary sewer easement. The spacing of the required landscaping shall be allowed to be adjusted so there are no trees or shrubs installed over the proposed sewer service line connection to be approved by the planning director. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy. We have signed up tonight Justin Greer with Greer and Pittman Engineering, right?
Yes, sir. How are you? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Justin Greer, Pittman and Greer Engineering, 1050 Barber Creek Drive, Building 400. I'm representing the property owners this evening and the variance request before you. To begin, I'd like to give you a little history of the property, how we got here tonight. So initially, we completed and gained approval from the planning department on a preliminary site plan for the development. We then moved into site development plans, and as we were working through those plans, I determined that a buffer was required adjacent to Athens Academy property. A buffer that both staff and I missed at the preliminary site plan stage. I immediately brought this to Guy's attention and requested if there was any administrative action that he may be able to take to relieve the buffer requirement due to the site constraints. He said our only venue was to the variance route before you this evening. The variance stems from the adjacent properties underlying zoning being AR. As you can see on the first page that I gave you in the packet, highlighted in yellow, an office use is required to have a 25-foot buffer adjacent to an AR zoning. This buffer is required regardless of the use on that property. So in the zoning, in the UDC, it's either or, either it's use or it's zoning. Our case, it's the property zoned AR, therefore the buffer is required. On the second page of that packet, you'll see, per the UDC, a private school is listed under the principal use section, public and institutional uses. So that's on 2 pages of the UDC. I combined them. You see the principal use, public and institutional uses is a principal use under a school is that under that section. So this means that even though the use is considered institutional by the UDC, the buffer is still required because of the underlying AR zoning. If the school was in an OIP or OBP, B1 or B2 zoning class, that buffer would not be required. So it's not use, it's underlying zoning. We're requesting the buffer reduction due to a couple of factors. Can you go to the page, the PDF 2? I had these, I pull up on the screen also. Yep. So yes, so the red hatch area is the location of the proposed force main line permanent easement. That's the line that's currently getting installed. And on the next sheet, the green hatch illustrates the construction easement for that force main, and the contractor has already cleared that. I went out on site just this afternoon. I wanted to get as up-to-date pictures. Those are at the end of that packet, so there's some images in there you can see. On the next sheet, page 5 of your packet, that's the water line. So the history on this property, Rockinwood used to come through that area. There was a water line in that right of way. The property got deeded over, the right of way got abandoned, deeded over to the property owner. And when that was done, no easement was picked up on that water line. So right now that water line is on private property, not in an easement. It was our plan as we move through site development plans is to go ahead and dedicate that right of way for the water line. So that cleans it up, cleans up for Oconee Water Resources. There's an easement there. Brad, he's the owner of the property. He's here. So we were in agreement with doing that. If you look at that overall easement, including the blue line from the property, that overall easement area encroaches 50 feet, 51 and a half at one point, 52 on this lower end. So it eats up a bunch of property. That's the reason our request was to go from 25 to 0. Is basically that area is eaten up in right of way. And the property that we are adjacent to is part of the campus, but it's its own parcel, and it's a sliver down through there that has a force main line in it. So it's kind of a small piece of property that runs down our piece of property, and then you have the main campus of the school. And you can see that in the bottom two corners. There's two ownership. It's not very clear, but you have. In the report, staff states that the buffer should be approved at 10 foot. An additional 10 foot of buffer seems unnecessary in light of the utility improvements that are being installed in the area. The report also alludes to the property values being diminished if the buffer is not leased at 10 foot. I strongly disagree with that assessment. I don't think it has a tremendous impact on value. If it did, it's already cleared by the installation of the utility department. That buffer is gone now. To conclude, I want to iterate that the buffer requirement is based on adjacent underlying zoning and not the school use. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have at the appropriate time.
Mr. Greer, we also have Brad Stevens signed up to speak, if you'd like.
Hello, Brad Stevens, 2034 Spartan Estates Drive, and just wanted to reiterate what Justin said. We, sold the easement to the county year and a half ago, after we owned the property, for the future force main, and at that time requested to be able to tap into the sewer at the pump station that's separate from the force main, because we knew we'd be developing the property eventually. Didn't anticipate it affecting anything with the buffer from the force main coming through there, because at that time we didn't know about that. We just knew we wanted to be able to tap in for sewer for the commercial building that we would be building. And live in the neighborhood, so my kids go to the school there, and I don't want to diminish anybody's value any more than anybody else, and just want to do a good project there that we all are proud of looking at when you come into the county.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Anyone else would like to speak in favor of the petition? We did not have anybody sign up to speak against, but anyone would like to speak in opposition to the petition? If not, unless Mr. Greer has anything else to say, we'll bring it to the commissioners for discussion. Questions?
Got one. To either gentleman. Way it currently is, I was over there looking myself. Can anything be planted in that area with all that infrastructure?
It's going to be difficult, and whatever gets planted, I mean, you can't plant it in the easements.
So that's gonna stay.
It's permanent access easement for utility maintenance. I mean, there's a green sliver down there that is cleared. So the easement, there is a construction easement that I presume is temporary. I don't know that to be the case. I don't know if it's a permanent easement. I don't have the exact wording on it. But it's not very large adjacent to the property.
I was just wondering, with all that infrastructure, water, sewer, whatever, you wouldn't be planting trees
Well, that'd be the requirement of the buffer.
top of our infrastructure.
No, we would not plant it on top of the permanent easement. No, sir. No, that would not be allowed.
My only thought was, and I'm not trying to be smart aleck or anything, but with the use of metal bats, balls go over fences. I don't know where to parking or anything like that, so.
Yeah, there's some trees. So so Athens Academy has pushed their field up to their property line with no buffer. So it's pretty close. They were actually, in one of those pictures, they were actually changing out lighting out there today. So it's not, their fence is not right up on the property line. There's a gap for them to do around the back of that maintenance. So there was a truck down there and there was a lift that they were changing out lights. So there's a pretty good accessible distance on their property. And then you got another 50 feet on the edge of the easement.
All right, I just threw that in.
Oh, yeah.
Conversation.
Yes, sir.
Looking, because I think that's over near the left field, left center. something like
Yeah, I
that.
think it is left center.
Most runs good. But if there's no cars, when you,
Yeah, we're not pushing our parking lot because of grading up to the property line.
okay.
No,
I'm sorry, ma'am, the public comment's over. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Justin. I'm sorry? Okay, that'll be fine.
That's all.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I guess go back to Justin, maybe the first part of your presentation. So what you're saying is that because of this property being an AR, then it's required to have the buffer. If it did not, if it was different zoning, then it wouldn't even be required. Is that correct?
That's correct. Because of the school is in an AR zoning, the AR zoning class requires the buffer. Because the UDC reads that it's either, that's what's included on that page one, that first highlighted section there on the left of that page says, along a side or rear lot line next to this less intense use or zoning. So it's either you have AR zoning or less intense use on that piece of property. The zoning trumps the use.
Okay. So just for clarification, on the sheet where you have the different colors
Yes.
outlined, so the proposed buffer would be along the lower end of I guess it would be the green line.
Well, the green line is a temporary construction easement that was currently cleared by the utility contractor. So here's the situation that we would get into. If we could plant something in the green area, your contractor's cleared what we would leave. So we're in a sticky little bit of situation. You know, the contractor has cleared what we would now be required if we went to 10 foot. We would try to use that outside green area as much as we could. It's close. I mean, it's probably 11 or 12 feet. We'd have to get something smaller and tall. Trees would have to go in there as a buffer. But again, the contractor has just cleared what we'd be trying to save. So we're kind of in a, if we had been representing Brad prior to the easement negotiation, we would have said, don't have that outside construction easement. Just use the permanent easement. We'll maintain if possible, but that's neither here nor there.
So one other question, if you did do the 10-foot buffer, what would you plan in there that would not impact the sewer line?
Well, there's that. We have sewer line on both sides. So planting anything's not going to be a great deal. It's not going to be a good situation for whatever gets planted if you ever have to do maintenance. I'm not sure, 100% sure how deep it is through there. We have plans that I should have looked at that before I came. It'd be skinny shrubs, tall shrubs.
Yeah. So it really wouldn't help with the baseballs.
Ideally, no.
Okay. And then, I guess maintenance wise, would your client be maintaining that area? I guess in the green, that some of that's is actually in the parking lot, it looks like.
Yeah, if it gets cleared and the contractor leaves it dressed up, they'd probably come back and grass it and keep it cut for sure. I mean, I wouldn't be no reason being off the parking lot not to keep it cut.
Yeah. Okay.
Lawn area.
So it would just basically be an extension of the ball field, the greenery that they have there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of there's a few trees on that property on the Athens Academy piece in the corner. It's kind of, the pictures are kind of deceiving because that property line, the fence is turning. The property line kind of goes up straight where that white truck is. So there's some trees in there on one of those pictures. It's just kind of,
Yeah. I
it's
see
not very
those.
many.
Yeah, I see them. Few pines. Sorry.
Well, you got there, Justin, you said earlier that is there an easement? You know, I'm looking at this picture here. I don't think you had this picture here. This white tomahawk looking area. That's an easement that's already there?
So this separate parcel.
That Academy owns. That's right, right.
This is their. Still has a.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. And how wide is that one? You know,
That parcel,
that partial? You know how wide that is?
if I had my glasses, I could probably find it. I think it's 30 feet. I think it's either 20 or 30 feet.
20 or 30 feet? Should go 25. Yeah. You gotta worry about no baseballs getting that 75 feet over the fence.
Could be another Bo Jackson.
That's dead center field too.
Does he need
Long
an
way.
eight?
I was at the stadium when he hit that one up in the lights. It's always somebody.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fine.
I was just gonna say, whether it's required or not, I mean, we would be planting some plantings at the edge of our parking lot that up close, to the back of the curb, if it's a visual buffer that is the concern. I know it's not gonna stop a baseball, but,
Really just added.
well, I got you, but just wanted to say, I mean, we want to create a good looking project. It's just don't want to have to plant something in an easement or right on top of utilities that's going to be a problem, 10 years down the road for the owner or for our tenants at that time.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Not, entertain a motion?
I make a motion to approve the variance P 26-0078 with the 5 conditions, and I'd like to modify one of them and have a 0 buffer on that.
All right, motion been made and Commissioner Horton second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Ah,
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, thank you. Moving down to personnel matters, we have some appointments to consider for various boards. The first one is the Library Advisory Boards. We have 2 appointments to be made beginning July the 1st and this year ending in June 30th of 2031.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve Scarlett Mitchell and Karen Meyer as the 2 appointments to the library board.
Motion been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is Animal Services. We have 3 appointments that need to be made. Appointments beginning July 1st of this year, expiring into June of 2028.
I'll make a motion to appoint Vivian Ezra, Simon, and I'm gonna have to get some help with that last name,
Owino,
okay, and then Fran Leathers.
I second.
All right, motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is consider one appointment to Family and Children's Services. Again, the appointment begins July 1st of this year. It ends June the 30th of 2031. So,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we appoint Dr. Joseph Nunley to fill that position.
motion been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is our Keep Oconee Beautiful Commission. We've actually have 5 appointments to make tonight, gentlemen. beginning July 1st of this year, expiring the end of June in 2028.
Chairman, I make a motion we approve Rodney Mauricio, Kelly Dobbin, Shawita Dosi, Robert Legg, and Tommy Malcolm to fill those positions.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. No other discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Last is consider appointments to our Tourism and Visitors Bureau. We have 3 appointments, beginning appointments starting July 1 of this year, ending June 30th of 2028.
I make a motion to appoint Greg Wilson, TJ Stevens, and Dean Bright.
Second.
All right, motion been made and seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations to those appointed tonight. Thank you for your service. Our next item is to discuss and consider purchase of Station 8 fire engine. I believe Melissa's going to make that presentation for us.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here this evening on behalf of the Oconee County Fire Department requesting your consideration of a purchase of a fire engine for Station 8. The purchase cost is $1,098,208.50. And we'll be replacing a 2009 engine that's currently in service, but that would be removed from in-service as a reserve engine. The estimated delivery time exceeds 24 months, so well in advance, but we'd like to go ahead and place it on order using our SPLOST 2027 referendum as approved. And also requesting budget amendments for the life of the contract as needed. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Melissa? If not, motions inappropriate.
I'll make a motion to approve purchase of the fire engine for Station 8.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, I'll assume everyone's ready to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Melissa. The next is to discuss and consider adoption of our proposed FY 27 budget. As Melissa comes up, I want to remind everyone, we've held 2 public hearings prior to tonight. So we'll not be taking any public comments, but Melissa, make your final presentation.
Thank you. Just here to inform you that there have not been any changes since our last presentation. So the request this evening is that we are adopting the proposed FY 27 general fund budget as it's already been presented for $49,004,700 with a proposed total budget of $85,493,242, and also including the FY 27 fee schedule as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adopt the proposed FY 27 general fund budget of $49,004,700 with a proposed total budget of $85,493,242 and the FY 27 fee schedule as presented.
All right, motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I want to thank Melissa and her staff, I say Donna in the back there, for all the hard work y'all have done, and the entire staff in getting that budget put to bed tonight. Thank you so much. Next on the agenda is to discuss and consider a medical director agreement for our Oconee EMS, and we have our new EMS director, Jaron Queen, to come forward and make that presentation. Welcome, Jaron. I guess we'll be seeing a lot of you on there.
It's quite possible you see a lot of me. So it's EMS's recommendation that we utilize a Dr. Brendan Hawthorne. He's out of Piedmont, Athens, board certified emergency physician, and he would meet all requirements set forth by the Department of Public Health and the EMS division. That's my recommendation.
Okay. Any questions? Comments? Any public questions or comments? If not, motion's appropriate.
I'll make a motion to approve medical director agreement for Oconee EMS.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Aaron, you should have stayed up there because we need to discuss a pharmacy provider for Oconee EMS.
So the State Department, the Department of Public Health requires that we have a pharmacy agreement on file. This is also signed by the medical director once he's on board. We all have to sign off on it, and it's a vendor. It's just a standard vendor for us. It's not a set monthly cost. It's about what we use. But we have to have an agreement, so that's why it's here for vote. So I'm recommending AdRx, which is a local pharmacy there in Bogart, and that's EMS's recommendation for this.
Thank you. Any question or discussion from commissioners?
No, sir.
Any public comments in regards to this? If not, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve pharmacy provider for EMS as AdRx out of Bogart, Georgia, as submitted.
Second.
All right, motion been made and seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We now go to our consent items. Any commissioners request any of the 5 consent items to be removed? If not, entertain a motion.
Make a motion that the consent items be approved as presented.
All right, motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We do not have a need for executive session, so Commissioner Saxon,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
thank y'all. Appreciate y'all coming out tonight.